It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Ooh, ooh, yeah. When I done came up out the bottom. Ooh, ooh, yeah. Got fresh like I just hit the lotto. Ooh, yeah. They say money can't fix all your problems. Ooh, ooh, yeah. Well, I say throw it in my wallet. Ooh, yeah. When I done came up out the bottom. Ooh, yeah. Got fresh like I just hit the lotto. Ooh, yeah. They say money can't fix all your problems. Ooh, yeah. Well, I say throw it in my wallet.
Yeah, life is a youngin', boy, I was constantly bumming. Couldn't have nothing, never sold drugs. I was on corners with tapes on my bag. Just me and my cousin, my homies was frontin'. Blessing for ladies, my story is crazy. These rappers can't fade me, I got it. Focus my energy, now we get plenty G's, and it's direct to deposit.
Measuring the streets, remember the days I was fast in the feast. Checking my bank and I tally the least. Now I get paid for my talent at least.
All of that struggle just made me a beast. I don't know why they wanna play with the kid. I done build everything straight from the mud. Still I ain't never been down with the pig. I'ma do numbers when I drive, nothing when I cop. I'ma blow a bag, spinning on the block. Throw it on my girl, let her drop the top. Plus I'm independent, never sign to die. I can never stop, thumbing through the guap. Save a couple racks, put it in the stock. Ice water dripping, splashing on my watch. Flooding out the burgers, I don't see the dog. Ooh, that's my demeanor. Never been nice, but I feel like I'm meaner. Catching that money like I'm a receiver. Give me an inch, I'ma make it a meter. Shawty so high, she done gave me a fever. Dripping so hard, I done messed up my sneakers. Straight out the dirty, I came from the cleaners. I run through the green like a golden retriever.
Ooh, yeah.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this evening. In this video, we're going to be getting into two different subject matters, all right? The first, we're going to get into Cardi B as she has revealed the features on her album, which will be out Thursday night. Am I the Drama? We're going to be getting into the features. I've seen some people that seem to be happy about the features. I see some people that seem to be underwhelmed about the features. So we're going to talk about it. Again, we haven't heard the music to really say how they're going to approach the records, the beats, the melodies, the raps. We don't know nothing as far as that is concerned, but now we do have a couple faces to go with the music. So we're going to get into that. And we're also going to get into Saweetie. All right. She's got a video circulating. She's got an interview with Nessa on Hot 97 in which she talked about everybody has a thing to say about pretty privilege, which most people attribute that to her success. But she says, what about pretty punishment, where she feels like people don't take her seriously. They don't feel like she works hard. They feel like everything that she's received in life is exclusively because of her beauty and not that she's actually qualified for what she does. All right. So we're going to be getting into both of those subjects because I don't have like a whole lot to say about either, but I figured it would be best to just put it in one video rather than to do individuals. All right. So first up, let's get to Cardi B, Am I the Drama features. All right. So we're on Cardi B's Twitter here and it says, who's the drama? Up top, we have Cash Cobain. We have an appearance from the legendary Janet Jackson. We have a feature from Kehlani. We've got a feature from Lizzo. We've got Megan Thee Stallion, which I believe is for WAP, unless there's another feature on the album that we don't know about that also features Megan Thee Stallion. We've got an appearance from Selena Gomez. We've got Summer Walker, who Cardi's done music with in the past as well, and Tyler. All right. So as it stands, this is who we know of on the album. And I got to be honest, I feel like looking at this feature list, it kind of gives me an idea that this album is going to be very much so for the ladies. All right. Which can be a positive and can also be seen as a negative. I feel like Cardi B, throughout her career, her first album, her being lockstep with the Migos during that first round, she had crossover appeal for the women and the men, right? She had kind of, she has this almost masculine type of delivery with her voice, the Cardi, who you say you gonna do what the who? You know what I'm saying? So she's always kind of had the guys tuned in for that. But when you look at the features here, this makes you almost think of an R&B album, to be honest. I mean, Cash Cobain, I feel like he's the token New Yorker on the album. I'm not a fan of Cash Cobain, but I know in the East Coast, he's popping. Most likely, they're going to be probably on a drill beat, a New York drill beat. That would be the easiest way for them to collab, but they could surprise you. With Janet Jackson, I would be very surprised if it's not an R&B collab. You know what I'm saying? Like an R&B tone. They could do something iconic. They could make it like a control type of joint. You know what I mean? Where it's like explosive. You know, take it back to the tour where she had all the all black and shit, where she was busting ass on the stage. Something from that era, and sample it and make it new with some new vocals. They could, but I think that might be shooting for the moon. Kehlani's popping. She been out here. She's having great success with the Folded record that's out right now. Very timely feature. She's got a fan base that follows her. Not surprised, right? Lizzo, that one kind of shocked me a little. Well, I won't even say shocked. That's not the word for it. But again, I think this is going to be a more softer album based on these features. Now they could come throw a monkey wrench and have everybody on some aggressive shit. That would be different. But we know Lizzo. I mean, Lizzo did put out a mixtape where she was rapping, and she was kind of rapping kind of hard. Not hard in terms of like I really care about her raps, but hard as in she was aggressive with her raps. So that could be, you know, a rap feature rather than singing. But we know Lizzo is more so known for her big pop records. Megan Thee Stallion, again, we already know that's WAP, unless there's something we don't know. I would love to hear a new Megan Thee Stallion feature with Cardi B. You know, last year, before all the acts dropped, Megan did say that Cardi and her have enough records to put out like an EP or a mixtape. That thought hasn't been revisited. We haven't really seen them speak too much on each other this year. So I don't know. But it would be nice if they had something new, a new joint that could like really be popping some shit, be a hard record. I would like that, but we already got her on WAP, so we'll see. Selena Gomez, we already know that's gonna be more poppy, or we would assume, but she could kind of get R&B-ish too. It could be something Spanish. That's 3 different lanes that could go in. Summer Walker, again, you know, she's known for her hip hop R&B duets. They've already done some before in the past, so that's not something surprising. You know, Cardi was on one of Summer Walker's projects in the last couple years as well. Tyla, not so much a surprise because Cardi B is a big supporter of Tyla. She doesn't understand why people, you know, dump on her so badly. They've been definitely shitting on her for the last year. I think she's extremely talented. I think she has a very high ceiling. But I think that there's going to have to be some, you know, like a kumbaya, come to Jesus moment between the Black Americans and Tyla. You know what I mean? Just to kind of understand, like a hodgepodge of understanding of the cultural differences from where she comes from, where we come from, etc. You know what I mean? But outside of that, and I mean, for the theme, who's the drama? I think Tyla fits the bill because there's always drama around her. Megan Thee Stallion is always drama, not necessarily drama that she creates, but just drama in general because people hate her. Summer Walker has drama around her name, although she's been kind of out of the drama for a while. But you know, a few years ago, they was on her about her parenting. They was on her about all type of shit. You know, her performance, technique, a lot of shit. Ex-boyfriends, getting with an OnlyFans nigga. You know, drama has followed her around. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the texture of this album is going to be based on these features. Some people believe that these aren't the only features. You know, a lot of people were trying to hold out hope that they were going to get an appearance from Beyonce. And, you know, maybe we will. We just don't know. Cardi has an interview out with Kelly Rowland that just came out today on a Spotify conversation. So that could be, I guess, a hint, right? She was at the Cowboy Carter tour out in Paris. We don't know if that was based on Beyonce or if that was, you know, just to have a conversation with Jay around the imaginary players. I don't know. I can't say. So we'll just have to see if anybody else, if there's any additional surprises that come Thursday night, Friday morning. But as of right now, this is the list of people who will be making appearances. All right. Just yesterday, we were talking about the projections for the album, with all of the pre-sales, with the physicals, the CDs, the vinyls, all of this stuff. Whether or not it would exceed up to 300,000 first week, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it's going to do very well. I can pretty much guarantee that, especially with all the activity going on. You got to think. It's not this week. It'll be next week because it's going to drop Friday morning. Next week, she's going to be doing city-to-city in-store meetings, which is going to incentivize people to buy even more copies of the project so that they could show up to the pop-up, because you have to have proof of purchase in order to be accepted at the pop-up. So I think that's also going to drive sales Monday, Tuesday. I think she's going to be moving around all the way up until like the 22nd, 23rd or something like that. So, yeah, I think she's going to do well. How well? We'll have to see. Some people say, hey, why are we not talking about the quality of the music? Because we don't have the music yet. We can't talk about the quality of something without having the material. So we can't really talk about that piece as of yet. Check back in on Friday. We're going to talk all about the quality of the material, because that is ultimately what is most important. And y'all know I'm going to give it up. I'm going to be honest. Whether I like it, love it, or hate it, I'm going to be honest. Yes, I do like Cardi B. I like what she brings to the game. I like the energy she brings. We just going to have to see how she delivers. Y'all know I pull no punches, man. There's not a album that I've talked about that I haven't had a critique for, even for my favorite artists. You know what I'm saying? So please don't be weird. Now, let's get to Saweetie. All right. So this video has been circulating for a few days now. It says here, Saweetie talks about the industry counting her out and being punished for being pretty. She says I saw it on TikTok. They talk about pretty privilege, but don't talk about pretty punishment. There's been so many times I've been just counted out, and I know that's behind animosity. I know it's because of a hidden agenda, but it makes me work harder. So let's go ahead and play this clip from Saweetie out her own mouth, shall we?
Right. I was going to ask you, do you feel like the industry has tried to count you out? Like,
since I started.
Talk about it, man. Because I think people, look, to be honest, people see you're gorgeous. Mm-hmm. You're getting endless bags. Mm-hmm. You are, listen, that girl, right? I don't think they understand how many doors, how many rejections, how many times people have counted you out.
I saw it on TikTok. They were like, they talk about pretty privilege, but they don't talk about pretty punishment. There's been so many times I've just been counted out, and I know that it's behind animosity. I know it's because of a hidden agenda, but it makes me work harder. But this has happened, like, my whole life. So it's like, what I deal with in the industry is just, different face, same case.
Oof. Even now?
Yeah.
Sweetie, don't tell me. I don't, you know what? I'm going to, yeah, that's, yeah.
But I see it. It shows up in different ways. Mm-hmm. But I really just have I love reading like conspiracy theories or just theories about life. Yeah, not a conspiracy theory, but a theory about life. There is a theory where we talk to God and we sign up for this life.
Right.
And we know what we're doing, and we literally wrote our story before we got here. So when I'm seeing reoccurring things, I'm like, dang, girl, for real? Like,
You wrote this?
I'm like, this is the movie thing. This is the premise. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll be losing the plot too, and I'm just like, you know what? Focus. But
Yeah.
that's how I interpret those moments. I'm just like, okay, this is a reoccurring like thing that keeps showing
Yes.
up. So let me just progress from it, learn from it, grow from it.
Yep.
Don't let it get me down.
I feel like
Okay, so that's Saweetie talking about quote unquote pretty punishment. Ah, man, I've got some thoughts here. Number one, if you've been watching me on YouTube for at least a year or two now, y'all know I've covered Saweetie a few times. I don't think she's the best rapper. I respect her hustle. I respect her grind. She always got a check coming in. She always got some endorsements. She got all type of stuff going on. I salute that. But I think it's disingenuous a little bit to speak on pretty punishment without at least acknowledging that you do benefit from pretty privilege, right? I think most people would say, especially the earlier times of your career, you were let in because people thought you were beautiful, and if nothing else were to pop off, she could be a model, she could be in advertisements, she could be, beneficial in editorials. Like, they will find a career path for you, even if the music wasn't good. And I got to be honest, the music isn't great. Now, what I will give Saweetie credit for is she's mastered the art of creating at least one or two songs a year to keep people in tune with her, to keep herself relevant. And that's not an easy thing to do. You might say, you create a song or two a year that keeps you relevant. If you could do that, you could sustain a career. If you could have 5-6 good years creating 2 songs a year that's relevant, you end up with 12 relevant songs that you can perform for the rest of your motherfucking life for the next 30 years. And it's going to keep you booked. You could perform anywhere on the planet. You could do a 35 minute, that is, to an hour set doing your hits. And to be honest, I think Saweetie might need to look into that as her long-term plan. Look at Too Short. Look at E40. And I'm not saying that they don't have classic albums. I'm not saying that they're not more relevant than having 2 songs a year. But I'm also saying these are artists that at the drop of a hat, they could give you a single that's going to do numbers, that's going to have cultural relevance, that's going to get people back in tune with them no matter how long we've been out of tune with them. That's pretty much the point I'm trying to make. There's certain people in hip hop that just have that ability to do that. And a lot of those people do come from the West Coast, even namely the Bay. So study that. You know what I mean? Where other people may fall off, they have the ability to get, you know what I mean? They know they sound, they know what they do, they got their lingo, they got their fans, but then boom. I think Saweetie has kind of created that as a theme of her career. She doesn't have a debut album out. You know what I'm saying? She got mixtapes, she got EPs. She's been out since 2018? It's 2025, no debut album. And you're still here, you're still a topic, you're still dropping songs that are relevant. I think that is the career path that you should look into and embrace. There's nothing wrong with it. I think sometimes people expect themselves to be these mega stars. They look to the left and the right and they compare themselves a little bit too much. Oh man, I want to have this career. I want to have that career. Hey man, in music and entertainment, especially in hip hop, this is the hardest shit to sustain long term. So if you have any relevance after 6-7 years, be grateful for that shit. Thank God every day, every hour of the day, half hour if you're really faithful, because this shit is not guaranteed for nobody. So to say that you are receiving pretty punishment, I think that is a stretch. Now, there are some people out there that are not going to like you because they feel like you get things thrown in your direction without having to work hard. And I'm sure that can be annoying. But you cannot be punished solely for being pretty. Right? I think most entertainers, whether that be music, fashion, film, most entertainers are at bare minimum moderately attractive. Even some people that you may say don't have a traditional attractive look, they have something about them that you're like, okay, this motherfucker look kind of good. There's some people that you would say just are not, but maybe they just got a great personality, maybe they funny. But for the most part, people select folks that are pleasing to the eye as my go-tos. It's just the way it works. So I think everybody in this space benefits from a level of pretty privilege, right? The top of this video, we're talking about Cardi B. Some people might even say she benefits from pretty privilege, but you know what they can't take away from her? The work she's put in, the hits that she's made, the records that she's broken. You know what I'm saying? You cannot take that away. And we've never heard Cardi B come out and say, oh, I feel like people are punishing me for being pretty. So I think she should rethink that. Take away the victimhood of the situation. Yes, some people are not going to like you for whatever reason they choose. But coming out and that being the pedestal, being the hill to die on as to why your career may not be where you want it to be, that's not going to do it. You got to make better music. You got to get with some other producers. You got to do something. Now, I think she's in a interesting space because I think Saweetie was one of those artists that was signed to, I believe, 300 in the early stages. Y'all remember them early 300 stages? They had Young Thug was the flagship artist. Megan was one of those artists. I think she was one of those artists. I want to say NBA Youngboy was one of those artists as well, if I'm not mistaken. And I think a lot of those artists that were under the 300 mantle early, you know, they were new. They had resources. They had, you know, executives from, you had the Leors, the Kevin Lyles of the industry. Like, they came from these illustrious backgrounds and they were eager to prove a point. Like, we could start our own thing and put our firepower, our resources, our expertise and fucking push the pedal to the metal, put the gas on that shit. So there was a lot of support is what I'm getting at. And I think at this point in Saweetie's career, she's not getting that same support that she got early on when she first came on the scene, because you're not with 300 no more. I think she's an Atlantic artist, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it Warner? Actually, I think it's Warner. And the building hasn't been necessarily impressed with your output, which is why they haven't given you a debut album. You know what I mean? So again, you start looking around, you comparing yourself, but ultimately, I think if you just lock in with the music, like she has good music videos. She always has a concept that people resonate with. So I just think you got to put together a good album. Once you put together a good album, it's not too much people could take away from you. Again, I don't know if it's gonna blow you up to that superstardom, because we're so used to you being this person that it would take like a whole resurgence, rebranding of sorts to like elevate massively past where you're at. But you're here, man. Do your motherfucking thing, and do me a favor. Don't say that shit no more. All right? Don't do that shit. Keep putting out your dope song, 2 song, 3 song per year. Put out a motherfucking EP per year. Bangers. Tour them motherfuckers. Do your brand deals. Do your modeling gigs. You know what I'm saying? And be grateful. Like, it's a lot of motherfuckers that came and went out this bitch. It's a lot of people who was extremely, immensely talented, couldn't get a 5-year run out this bitch. Hit the ground running. All right? But that's my thoughts. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.
Ain't no way to stop it when a nigga poppin'. Pull up, start a problem, I got plenty options. Homies from the project, we the trending topic. I got bennies in my wallet, fuck your all I got is all I could get. Flooded the knowledge, I flooded my wrist. Tell me I rap for the glamour and glitz. Got on my shit, now they ran me on list. Filling my pocket, I'm taking a trip. Call me a genie, I'm filling my wish. When it come down to me and get in my bag, I gotta get it, I pay for the lift. I got a baby, we coming legit. Roll with the big dogs. I need my cut like fit now. Buddy got shot like Sam Car. Married to the game like in-laws. Do what I please, move with the breeze, fly to Belize. Shawty, she love me, she come in the tease. Ready the haters, we cutting the weeds. Give my space, oh man. Got me a taste, oh man. Flood to the face, I'm running a race, I cover the bases, all damn. Nigga, don't try me, I'm on my square. Cardiac diamonds, a woman, your pill. Treat all this money like I got a meal. Everything closer than it might appear, yo. Bitch, I got my mask on now, watch your germs here. I've been getting paid since the third tier. Popping on the net, fuck a local, I got turf here. Fucking with the squad, we gon' put y'all in some merch, yeah.